Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video, and in today's video I'll be playing Lucian. Sorry that it took me a few days to make a Lucian video. It's just I only want to make videos on champions that I'm good at, right? And when I played Senna, I was immediately good at her because I just immediately understood her playstyle. But Lucian, you have to play him, a certain way. And after a few games, I figured it out. And today I will teach you how you can dominate your game on Lucian. So in the beginning part of the video, I'm going to explain to you how to build Lucian. And I really recommend you to stay here because there's basically two builds that I go for. Timestamps in the description to skip to the gameplay. So let me show you the two builds immediately. This is the build that you want to go for if the enemy is very squishy and if you want to deal a lot of damage. Basically the objective of this build is dealing damage, right? Just boom, dealing a lot of poke damage, dealing a lot of blowing up an enemy. Basically that, you want to be the one that deals the damage. There is another build, however, which is this build. And a friend of mine named Mozilla gave this build to me, and he's like one of the smartest Wild Rift people ever. So let me explain the point of this build real quick. I don't really like this build a lot because I don't like the playstyle. But basically the playstyle is that you can kite the enemy, shred the armors of the tanks, just be very annoying. You're basically going to be a tank shredder because you have the Black Cleaver and you have the Blade of the Rune King. You're going to be incredibly hard to kill with this build because you're going to have a lot of HP. As you can see, 200 HP plus 250. You're going to have a lot of bonus HP. You're going to be able to kite the enemy because you have 25 plus 25 ability haste. So you get my point here, right? With this build, you're basically going to spam your third ability to run away, your second ability to get the bonus movement speed. That's the point of this build. You really want to get a mana flow band when you go for this build, by the way, because it's very mana hungry. So now let's talk about the build that I do like the most, which is the carry build. This is the carry build, but this build is not going to allow you to dash as much. This build is not going to make you as tanky. This build is not going to give you as much cooldown reduction, but in return for that, you're going to have massive damage. So let me talk about the build. Blade of the Rune King first. This item is absolutely amazing on Lucian because your passive gives you the double attack, right? And what does double attack mean? It means double Blade of the Rune King. And yes, that's right, you're going to be shredding that HP of the enemy because of the double attack. After that, make sure you buy boots. Tier 1 boots, and I really actually recommend you to immediately go for the Ionian Boots of Lucidity because cooldown reduction is amazing on Lucian, especially on that third ability. So I really recommend you to actually immediately get Ionian Boots after the Blade of the Rune King. After that, see, Static Shift is the most amazing item on Lucian, but you do not want to go for its second item. Let me explain. So, Blade of the Rune King only gives you 20 attack damage and a lot of attack speed. You do not want to have even more attack speed because the point of Lucian is dashing in and boom, shooting 2 attacks and then going out. For example, right? He's not like Jinx, like Kai'Sa, where you just continuously dash out basic attacks. He just wants to do a lot of burst damage with his combos. So what you want to do is you want to go for the Infinity Edge because it gives you 55 attack damage and that bonus crit damage. So you get that as your second item. I actually always go for Proto Belt on Lucian, by the way, and that's because of the ultimate. You can dash during your ultimate with the Proto Belt. So, that's why Proto Belt is actually really good on him. You can also go for Stasis Enchant if you're against a Zed, Fizz, and you know the drill, right? As your third item, Static Shift. Now let me explain to you why Static Shift is the most amazing item on Lucian. His double attack charges up the stacks of the Static Shift twice as fast as a normal attack. That's right. So whenever you basic attack an enemy, you're gonna get 12 stacks of the energized, and when you have 100 stacks, you're gonna get the damage from the Static Shift. But with Lucian, when you do the double attack, you're not gonna get 12, you're gonna get 24 stacks. You get my point here, right? You're gonna be able to proc the Static Shift so often, maybe every 2 seconds in a team fight. It's that crazy in the late game, and the damage is just absurd that it deals in the late game, especially with the Static Shift. As your fourth item, Mortal Reminder to shred that armor. Now when you go for the blow up build, you do not want to go for the Black Cleaver. Even though it's very easy to shred the enemy's armor with the Black Cleaver, you just want to go for the Mortal Reminder to get that immediate 30% armor penetration. You're not going to be able to shred their armor, you're going to penetrate the armor. And the difference is, with the Black Cleaver, you're going to be shredding their armor, which is also going to allow your teammates to deal bonus damage. You get it, right? it's gonna reduce their armor by 25%, so all your teammates are gonna do bonus damage. But as I said, when you play this build, you don't care about your team, you are gonna be the carry. So Mortal Reminder provides you only the 30% armor penetration. After that, Guardian Angel. By the way, quick thing to understand is you can actually get the Executioner's Calling as your second item if the enemy has a lot of healing, like, you know, Senna, Sona, not Vayne. You get it, right? Like if they have a lot of healing, Soraka, Nasus, Mundo, champions like that, get an Executioner's Calling as your second item. About the runes, Conqueror. You can stack up Conqueror so easily. I'm not even gonna talk about it. It's you know, just go for Conqueror. As my second rune, now I really like Hunter Vampirism, but you can also go for Champion. I do not like Champion personally. I just feel like it's too risky for what you get, but you can do it. But if you just want to have, you know, a safe game, get the Hunter Vampirism. And with the Hunter Vampirism, it's actually really good if you rotate to your teammates and go for a dragon, right? Because if you win that dragon fight, you're gonna get all the vampirism all the hunter stacks of the vampirism. It's not necessary, but just good to know. Now, as your third rune, it's situational. Bone plating against a lot of burst damage. Adaptive Carapace, if you want to have that really good early game. For example, it's really good against Fiora because you can have 50 bonus health, bonus armor. It's really good against Darius. It's just good against a laning matchup where you like feel like you're gonna struggle in the early game to get that bonus 50 max health and the bonus armor and magic resist, bonus armor or magic resist where you're under 50% HP. You can also get Hunter Titan if the enemy has a lot of stuns, and I really recommend this one. I just generally go for bone plating against like Lee Sin or something, right? So that's not gonna allow him to completely blow you up. Now when you go for this build, you do not need the mana flow pent. Just go for Sweet Tooth, because Sweet Tooth is broken. And for your spells, you go for Barrier and Flash. Honestly, Ghost could be interesting because you can use the Ghost during your ultimate, right, to become super fast. It could be worth to try, but I would still go for the Barrier. So that was it about the build. Let's get into the gameplay. Alright, on to the gameplay. So I am a firm believer of Lucian mid and Lucian Baron lane. I genuinely think ADC Lucian, which means Dragon Lane Lucian, is not the best role to play him at. See, I made a Vayne Baron Lane video a few days ago, and if you haven't seen it already, I really recommend you to watch it. And I seriously believe ranged Baron Laners could be a thing. It could potentially be like a hidden gem in Wild Rift. It is so powerful. It's just like especially against the matchup that I'm against right now, which is Riven. Riven is pretty much the easiest matchup that you can get. Let me explain to you why. First of all, of course, you have a range advantage. But the second reason, which you may not really think of, is your second ability. See, what your second ability does is you shoot like a ball at the enemy, which explodes on them. And when you hit a marked enemy, you're gonna get a lot of bonus movement speed. So what does that mean? If the Riven is chasing me, I can easily escape from her with the second ability. And just look at the way that you can lane against a melee champion. He cannot do anything. Here, look, boom, boom. It's as easy as that. You use your third ability to dash to him, and you do boom boom, double basic attack, and just look at how much damage I've already dealt to him. So he goes on me here. Look at this. I want you guys to test your knowledge here. This is gonna be a very rough question, but I want you to test your knowledge. So I paused the video here. Did I make a positioning mistake here? Because I allowed him to go on me and do a lot of damage. As you can see, like if you look here, you can see that he dealt a lot of damage to me. But was this a mistake on my end? Or was this a good play from my end? Put it in the comments and let me know why. So let's play the clip and I'll explain to you what it was and why. So let's play the clip. Look. It was an amazing play by me. Now if you rewind the video, you'll see that the Riven dived me and I knew that he could have dived me. But the reason that it was good was because I had a massive minion wave. All I did was I ran under my minion wave and I took the fight. Even though he completely outtraded me, he already used all his dashes. So I could just easily take the trade with him under my minion wave. Because my minions are going to do a lot of damage to him. And this is the thing that you have to understand with in the early game. So let's take a look at what's happening here. I use my second ability to get bonus movement speed. I dash in with my third ability. And I get the kill. Guys, this is what Lucian and what a lot of ranged laners can do in the lane. And here, unfortunately, I cannot help the Evelynn. I was looking at my map, but I cannot help him. I really cannot help him. So, oh man, stop pinging, please. What was I talking about? So yeah, if an enemy, especially in the early game, dives you, or if you want to dive an enemy, pay close attention to the minion waves. This is something very important that some people actually ignore. You know, they tend to ignore the minion waves, while the minion waves deal insane damage in the early game. So, you know, back to that situation, it was a really good play by me, and Riven underestimated the power of the minions. Just take a look at this here. Riven is right there, boom boom. This is what you can do on Lucian. Just do the empowered, you know, use your passive, utilize your passive, especially with your third ability. Now your second ability is actually super important as well. You know, when I played Lucian for the first few games, I really thought that the second ability was like, you know, the least important second ability. You know, it's like, sorry, the least important ability. But actually, now I would say it could be one of the most important. Here, take a look at this. I got the bonus movement speed here, and I'm using it to run away. I'm using my ultimate, and oh my god, look at that. Oh. I used my barrier at the last moment because I wanted to bait him under my turret. I used the barrier for the last moment, and then I used my ultimate, guys. And that second ability actually allowed me to move under my turret. The bonus movement speed that it gave me was really crucial there. Now let's talk about the ultimate of Lucian. And you'll actually see me fail my ultimate quite often in this game, so let me teach you some things about it, because it's actually a pretty hard ability to use. Even though it may seem like a very straightforward and easy ability, let me explain to you why it's hard and how to effectively use it. First of all, if an enemy is chasing you, it's very easy. What is he doing? Why is he fighting me? Let's take a look at what's happening here first. Basic attack, third ability, empowered basic attack. I went a bit too deep, took a little too much damage, so I was like, yeah, I want the ultimate. If an enemy chases you, it's a free hit. You're going to be able to easily hit them with your ultimate. If you're chasing an enemy, it depends on something, whether or not it's a free hit. Let me explain. If you're chasing an enemy that either has no mobility, you know, like dashes, hook shots, anything, or if you're chasing an enemy that has already used up his mobility, then you can easily hit your ultimate as well. But if you're chasing an enemy like Lucian, like Renekton, like you know basically Camille, if you chase champions like this, they can just use certain abilities to run away from you, and like to dash away and dodge your ultimate. Here, let's take a look at this. Oh my god, how disgusting is this champion really? This is what a ranged champion can do in your lane. But yeah, what I was talking about, your ultimate can be hard to chase down an enemy. Now, obviously you can use Proto Belt, you can use your flash, you can use your third ability to reposition yourself with the ultimate. But let me tell you that it actually takes quite a lot of practice to do this well. Like, I actually failed it. You'll see me fail it a few times in this game. So it takes a bit of practice, and that's all I can really say about it. It takes a bit of practice to get the hang of the ultimate of Lucian. And if an enemy is very close on top of you, I don't recommend you to actually use your ultimate in a lot of situations, because they can just sidestep it very easily. You're not going to be able to actually react to it fast enough, because if they're right on top of you, they can very easily sidestep your ultimate. So now let's talk about the concept of playing a ranged Baron laner, because I kind of want to make this meta. I really want to make this meta. I want to see more ranged Baron laners. You know, I've seen a bit more Vayne Baron lane, but I'm not seeing a lot of Lucian Baron lane, and I'm telling you guys, play it. It is good. It is actually good. However, there are a few things to understand when you play ranged Baron laner. The first thing is, you know, besides the good things, there's obviously also bad things. The first bad thing is you're not a tank. So often when a Baron laner is being played, it's like supposed to be a tank or like a bruiser, you know, like Fiora, Camille. Basically champions that can like dive in the enemy team, tank up damage, assassinate targets. You are not going to be that type of champion when you play a ranged champion. When you play a ranged champion in the Baron lane, make sure you have like some sort of tank or bruiser in your team. So we have a Renekton mid lane. And that's why I was like, okay, you know what? Sure, I can play Lucian in the Baron lane. But it's still a bit risky, I would say. Like, you know, it's true we have a Renekton mid lane, but the rest of our team is very squishy. We don't really have a good front line. And this is the thing that you really have to pay attention to when you play a ranged Baron laner, because you really want to communicate it with your team. Ask them to pick like tank champions or bruiser champions, because if they don't, and if you just go for a full squishy team, you could be screwed, because it's actually pretty hard to play with that. Just look at that damage, man. I dodged his thingy. No, I filled my ult. Yeah, here you saw me fill my ultimate. So what happened there is exactly as I taught you. When you use your ultimate against a champion with a lot of dashes, like Ahri with her ultimate, you're not gonna kill them. They can just dash out of your ultimate and you're gonna get screwed. Like here I got completely screwed by the Ahri. She just used her ultimate and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't reach her anymore. So keep that in mind. These are the things that you really have to understand when playing Lucian. About the ultimate, it's harder to use than you think. So be careful about it. It's a really good ability in like a 5 versus 5 situation, because you can just stay back from the enemy, what I mean is stay in from a long range from them and just hit them with your ultimate. Be a very annoying, like you're gonna be very annoying with your ultimate in team fights, right? Because you're just gonna be like keep shooting your ultimate at their faces, and you're just gonna do a lot of damage like that. So that is actually a good way to use your ultimate in a team fight, to just completely shred their front line. So the first ability is very powerful. It's a laser. So it shoots through anything. It shoots through Braum's shield, shoots through Yasuo's shield, it shoots through Pantheon, it shoots through everything, right? So this ability is amazing, especially in team fights, because like if you can hit that laser on like 2 or 3 enemies or something, you're gonna do a lot of damage with it, right? And you really have to utilize your second ability in team fights too. Try to hit it on enemies that are close to each other. The reason for that is because multiple enemies will get a mark then, and you know, if you or your ally hit those enemies, you're gonna get the bonus movement speed, which is really good, of course. So let's take a look what happens here. I knew that he would flash me, but I actually still filled my ultimate, still filled my dash, and here, you know, I just easily kill him. With your third ability, when a melee champion dives you, you can just quite easily go out of their range. So as you saw there, when the Riven dived me, I just used my third ability to get out of her range, and I can easily kite her. You can do this against any melee champion. You know, when they dive you, just go away with your third ability, then shoot your second ability and hit them, and with that bonus movement speed, they're never gonna be able to hit you. Never. They're really never gonna be able to hit you. Because first of all, you dashed away, secondly, you have bonus movement speed. And that is the power of Lucian. Now, let me tell you some weaknesses of Lucian. Matchup wise, which is range. Lucian does not have range. He has a good, he has good mobility with his third ability. He has a lot of burst damage. He has good sustain damage. He has it all except for range. And the only range that he really has is his ultimate. But you shouldn't rely on his ultimate for the range. It's never gonna be good enough, right? So his basic attacks don't have a lot of range. So when you're against like a Jinx or something, or a Varus, which we are in this game, you really have to be wary of the range that they have. So let's take a look at this here. I did a lot of damage here. So as I said, you really have to be wary about the range. Because they can poke you. They can poke you pretty hard with that range. So you really want to be in the faces of the enemies, and it's gonna be really hard to do if they have a lot of range. Just look at that damage, man. How crazy is that? Oh yeah, and when you use your abilities, you never want to use them without basic attacking. Always ability, basic attack, ability, basic attack, ability, basic attack. Always. There is no situation where you don't want to do that, because every basic attack is going to be empowered after an ability, and especially after you're using your third ability, every double basic attack is going to reduce the cooldown of your third ability. So keep that in mind as well. So you always want to think about these things, right? That every basic attack after an ability is a double basic attack. So to deal as much damage as possible, as I said, you always want to use a basic attack after any ability. There are no exceptions, by the way. There is really no exceptions. You always want to use a basic attack after any ability. Unless, see, there is one unless that I have for you. Wait, let's take a look at this fight. For some reason, he thinks that he can fight me while he's level 10. He has no chance, because I just have my third ability to kite away from him. So the only exception that I was going to give you was if you want to catch out an enemy very fast. Like very fast. So the way that you do that is you use your third ability, then you use your second ability, and then basic attack to slow them. What did I just do here? And then you'll catch up to them. Only do this if they're like, you know, if you really immediately want to catch up to them. I have no idea what I did here. This was just really stupid. I got too carried away by myself. I went way too deep, and you never want to do that. So what I did there is I already used all of my mobility to dive in the middle of the enemy, which is completely stupid. Your mobility abilities should be used to kite the enemy, right? You never really want to do it to chase an enemy, unless, of course, it's a 1v1 situation. Because if you chase too far and the enemy catches you out, you are dead. Like I used my proto belt, I used third ability, I used my flash. I had nothing left. I was just standing there like running around like a headless chicken with nothing. I was dead. So you don't want to do that. Keep that in mind. You really want to try to keep your mobility abilities unused, unless you really need to use it, right? You can always use your third ability, but flashing in like that, no, do not do that on Lucian, guys. Don't do that. It's not good. I'm like 2 levels ahead of this Evelyn, but I'm still giving him the farm just because I'm a nice guy. I should have probably not given him the farm, because this game actually gets very intense. Because the enemy Lee Sin actually has the same amount of gold as me. He's playing really well, and their Ari is also playing really well. And look at this. Look at how hard I filled my ultimate here. Yeah. Oh, the Senna did a beautiful third ability. Ooh, look at this. No way. Did you see that? Did you see how much damage I just did? In 1v1 situations, you do a lot of damage, because you're like a single target damage champion, except for your first ability, of course. So you do a lot of damage in those 1v1 situations, especially against melee champions, because you can kite them. Like, it was crazy that I just killed that Lee Sin from like 10% HP or something. That's so crazy that I did that. My team is actually doing really well. That Seraphim is on fire. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you give it a like. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and blah blah blah. Basically, if you like the video, it helps the channel. So yeah. Also, I'm doing a 15 skin giveaway. If you want to enter the giveaway, put down a comment under the video. Now, enough about that. Let's take a look at this. Here, I did flash in, and the reason for that is because they were so low. And I could flash there. It was okay there. Triple kill. Just look at this. No, I got killed. Why was that not a quadra kill? Come on. The Lee Sin is just way too strong, to be honest. Like, their Lee Sin is 18 on 4. Look at that Lee Sin. And their Ari as well. Like, they have 2 very fat champions. And I am the only fat champion in my team right now. What's gonna happen here? It's the battle of the junglers. My jungler is 2 levels behind the Lee Sin. Uh-oh. What is gonna happen? He actually got it. What a legend. Like, this enemy jungler is 18 on 4, but our Evelyn has managed to secure like every single dragon in the game, and also the Rift Herald, which I have no idea how he did, but he did it, I guess. That's all we care about, right? So I'm taking the red buff here, and this is fine when you're playing Baron Lane Lucian and you're hard carrying the game, right? Same goes with Vayne Baron Lane. When you're actually hard carrying the game, you can just take the red buff, it's fine. And I want you guys to also pay attention to how often the static shift is being procced. Oh my god, look at this. I filled my proto belt. But that Varus, you saw how much damage that Varus did to me from such a long range, which is, as I said, also one of the weaknesses of Lucian. The longer ranged enemies are really annoying to deal with, because they can just poke you from a super long range, especially Varus. I would probably say that Varus is perhaps one of the biggest counters to Lucian, because of his range poke, and of course because of his annoying ultimate. Yeah, just look at how fast I'm stacking up the static shift. How insane is that? Here, you see that? You can see the stacks at the bottom here. Like here you can see the stacks. Take a look at it. Like you should always go for static shift when you play like damage Lucian. You know, when you're playing like the damage Lucian build. Always go for static shift. Never go for a phantom dancer or something like that. Please. I never want to see a phantom dancer or a rapid fire cannon. Do not go for those 2 items. Go for the static shift. always, 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 it's always worth to go static shift. So what the hell's gonna happen here? We're sitting in the bush and the Braum overextends. This is the power of sitting in a bush, guys, that the enemy has not watered. And here yet again I used all of my mobility. This is just so stupid of me. You don't want to do this. Why would I do that? Oh my god. Jesus, man. That was like so stupid to do, to use all of my mobility like that. Incredibly stupid. Because if they would have caught me there with an Ari charm, for example, I would have been dead. I would have just been dead. Absolutely stupid to do that. So stupid. Don't do that, guys, please. Learn from these mistakes as well, because it's just so dumb to do. Here I'm trying to flank the enemy, which Lucian is really good at as well, by the way. Here. Oh, I missed my second ability. Oh, yeah, I missed my second ability. If I had hit that second ability, I would have probably killed him. So here, yet again, I'm trying to play the role of catching out an enemy. Like here I see the Ari. I don't want to go for the Baron. I want to catch out this Ari. And look at how much damage I did to him. Here I just randomly use my ultimate. As you can see, it's actually pretty hard to chase down enemies like that. Uh-oh. No! Get him! Nice! Oh, I would have actually killed both of them if he hadn't used his redemption. I would have killed both of them, but he used that redemption. That was well played by the Braum. Damn, look at this. I'm getting mad here. I'm getting mad here at that enemy guy trash talking his teammates. Yeah, I agree. I agree with my past self. I agree with this. This is good. That enemy Varus was just crying in the chat all game, all game, all game. Like, shut up, man. Please. So annoying. What should I say? I talked a lot, man. Like always when I make these videos, I realize that I talk a lot. Oh, some stuff that's not related to Wild Rift. Today, I actually celebrated reaching 50,000 subscribers with my family. I brought them to this restaurant, which is like an all-you-can-eat restaurant, and I posted on my Instagram every single dinner that I ate. You should really check it out. If you don't follow me on Instagram yet, there is a link to it in the description, and in my story, like you can check out my story, I posted all of the dishes that I ate. And I had 8 rounds of dishes, by the way. So if you want to see how much food I ate today, check out my Instagram, and it's really worth to check out. And here we have the Elder Green Dragon, and look at the lifesteal that I have, or the vampirism, sorry. I have like 50% vampirism right now, so 50% of the damage that I deal, I will heal up again. I'm just immortal. Like at this point, I'm just immortal. Look at this. Here, I get damaged, but look at how much I heal up. It's insane here. I'm full HP all the time. And here we just won the game, right? So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry that I took a bit longer for the Lucian video. I just don't want to make a video on a champion that I have no idea what I'm doing at. So, you know, I would much rather take my time. Screw the instant views. I want to make quality videos for my current audience, right? That's what I want to do. So, of course, I got the MVP. Let's see how much damage I did. Yeah, I reported this stupid Varus. Yeah, damn right. The Seraphim actually dealt more damage than me. What? That's crazy. He dealt more damage than me. The support Seraphim. Oh well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video.